Alright, welcome back. We are cooking dinner tonight, and I'm going to show you one of my favorite quick and easy dishes to cook that is going to use the rest of our Beyond sausage. This is the hot Italian sausage from Beyond Meat. If you didn't see my pasta video, I used this sausage to cook into the pasta sauce. And if you want to check that video out, I'll put it up here in the top right of the screen. So we're gonna make tonight basically it's in the form of a hot dog or a sandwich, but it's gonna be a hot Italian sausage with sauteed peppers and onions on the bun and some nice mustard on top. And within those peppers and onions, we're gonna have a green pepper, a red pepper, an orange pepper. I'm gonna do a serrano chili. We're gonna do some red onions and some sliced garlic, and then a little bit of basil just to bring it, give it some more flavor. So get our stuff washed here, and we're gonna get started on chopping. And I'm gonna get the pan over here heated up. We're gonna be using this griddle pan here for the sausages. So I'm gonna get it heating up on just below medium, and this 12-inch saute pan here for the peppers and onions. And I'm gonna get that right around medium as well. And those will heat up while we're prepping our vegetables here. This is basically an Italian-American dish. The first time that I can ever remember having this was, I originally am from Eastern Kentucky, and the first time I can remember having this dish was at a festival that they hold in Louisa, Kentucky called Septemberfest. And within Septemberfest, let me get a little bowl here for the compost. Within Septemberfest, they basically had funnel cakes and fair food and stuff like that. But I specifically remember eating this dish, and it was so good. And it was something that I can remember making often when I wasn't vegan, with just regular Italian sausage and bell peppers and such. So that's what we're recreating today. This is something that I eat really often. I say really often. I try not to eat Beyond sausage super often, because it is a processed sort of plant-based meat. Let's get this stem off here. Because it is processed, I try not to eat it. I try to treat plant-based meats like you would treat normal meats as a meat eater. You wouldn't want to eat them more than a couple times a week. So I try not to eat plant-based meats or Beyond sausage or Beyond beef more than a couple times a week. Preferably about once a week. But when you buy a pack of these sausages, they come in a pack of 4. Usually we'll use 2 per dish, and so we'll have 2 left over, so we'll make 2 dishes with the sausage in it. And occasionally I'll have their burger patties, and I'm going to do a recipe on those as well because I really like them. I'm going to show you how to do a smash burger with the Beyond Burger that'll taste like, you know, a burger you get from In-N-Out or Shake Shack or wherever, you know, whatever your preferred fast food smash burger is. But for this particular recipe, we're going to use a French hoagie bun. A hot dog bun is really not going to be big enough to manage everything that's going to be going on here, because this is going to be kind of a thick, like sandwich-like situation. Yeah, like I said, it's an Italian-American dish. I guess kind of goes all back to using peppers with Italian sausage. That became a kind of very popular American Italian dish in the early 1900s, and it's really stuck around because you got a guy here who's from Eastern Kentucky originally who absolutely loves having sausages with his peppers and onions. So, but yeah, you should definitely give this a try. All right, there we go. We got all of the bell peppers cut there. I'm gonna get another bowl here just to put all that in. And yeah, like I said, for this recipe, you're gonna need at least 2 bell peppers. I like to do 3 bell peppers because really, you're gonna have a good bit left over. Here's the basil over here. I've already got it rinsed and ready to go. I'm gonna go ahead and chop this chili up. This is a Serrano chili. I generally don't de-seed my chilies because I like the heat. But if you're not about the heat, then by all means, go ahead and de-seed it, or just leave it out if you don't have it, or if you don't like the heat, just leave it out. Let's see, the red onion. So everything should be heating up over there nicely. This is a really big red onion, and I'm gonna cut it in half first. And part of it's kind of going bad. That's why I wanted to use this one, because it's a little bit old. Let's get it peeled off here. This was one of the biggest red onions I've ever seen. Got it from my co-op, my local co-op, which they get their produce from farms around Northern California. I'm just gonna take off some of those bad spots. That way we've got something we can deal with here. But yeah, if you can get produce from your local farmer's market as well, that's always a great idea. It's always going to be better than anything you can find at the supermarket. And we're just looking for strips like this for both the bell peppers and the onions, and all that can just go straight in. But you just want strips that are going to all cook at about the same amount of time. And I'm gonna go ahead and do this other part of this onion as well. I like to show you the prepping and chopping of the produce because I want people to see that that it's doable. That stuff like this is quick. You can, if you learn how to chop different kinds of produce, you can do it quick. And I used to feel intimidated whenever I would cook, and my eyes right now are getting slapped by this onion. I used to feel intimidated and not really feel like I ever wanted to cook, because I always thought, you know, I'm gonna have to chop all these vegetables or prep all these ingredients, and now I really look forward to it. Basically the way I learned was just by watching knife skills videos on YouTube. There's so many different people out there who have shared their knife skills, and it's really beneficial for me as someone who didn't grow up with a cooking background to see that, to see how professional chefs and professional cooks, and I'm crying here from these onions, to see how they actually chop stuff. I'm gonna have to blow my nose real quick, and I'm just gonna cut while I'm blowing my nose. Okay, we're back. I had to blow my nose. I don't want to be sniffing the whole time here. I have a severe thing with onions. Generally, I think it's worse than most people. I mean, they say that you won't cry if your knife is sharp and you don't damage the cells of the onion when you're slicing it. But even when I have a sharp knife, it still kind of gets to me. I used to work for Jimmy John's when I was going to school, and when I worked there, I would open on the weekends, and I would have to prep basically all the vegetables that would go in the line that we would use for the day, and red onions were one of those things, or red and white onions. So we're just gonna slice up this garlic here. But every morning, every morning that I had to open, I absolutely dreaded it, because I knew I was gonna have to slice those onions. And we had a deli meat slicer, which was really nice. I mean, it would chop stuff up quick, you know, it would slice it up really fast. But even still, I had problems with the onions. I always have, for some reason, and I still do to this day. So okay, so we got all that stuff chopped down, and we're gonna go over here, and this might seem like a lot, and it is a lot, but Let's hit some oil over here on our guy for the sausages. Some oil in here for our peppers and onions. Good bit of oil. This isn't going to be a necessarily super healthy recipe. And I used olive oil there. I really meant to use grapeseed oil, but that's okay. It's not a big deal. We're just going to go straight into the pan here. So like I said, it's going to seem like a lot. But kind of loud. It's going to seem like a lot, but it'll cook down pretty rapidly. And once it cooks down, there won't be nearly as much in the pan as what was in that bowl right there. As all that liquid cooks off, the water cooks out of the vegetables, and they begin to soften. They'll start to cook down, and it'll be like half of what it is right now. And we lost an onion. Throw that guy back in there. So just work it around, and you can add some salt just to help that release of the moisture. The salt will draw the moisture out of vegetables. So just give it a shake. Okay, so we're going to continue to let that cook down. Before I start the sausages, I'm going to chop up this basil real quick. And the way that I chop basil is by doing something called a chiffonade. And it's where you take all of the basil leaves and you pack them together like this in a stack. And this is a good bit of basil. This is probably about 20 leaves, but I like a strong basil flavor in this. Like I said, it is kind of an Italian-American dish, so a strong basil flavor is desired on my end. So normally you would roll these up like this, just as tightly as you can, and then just start to thinly slice them. And basically, after that, you will have strips of basil that'll work really nicely into your dish. And I like to do that for pizza as well. Get a little drink here. All right, so the sausages. So the reason why I cook them on this griddle here is because I don't have a grill. And if I did, I would cook them on the grill, but because I don't have a grill, I want to get that kind of char, the way that those griddle lines will cook the sausage will create like a char on them, kind of like they're on the grill. And I really like that for this recipe and for these sausages. Now these sausages, in the last video, we broke them apart and cooked them down into a crumble for that pasta sauce. But for this, we're going to leave them whole. We're leaving the skin on there. And I'm going to turn the sausage, or the peppers up here to about a high heat. And we're just going to begin to cook them down really rapidly. But I'm leaving the skin on those sausages. And as they cook on this griddle, and I'll show you real quick already. We're already getting a char on that. So that's kind of, that's what I want to see with these sausages. And the best thing to do for those is just a little set of tongs. I like to use these that have the rubber ends on it so that it's not as rough on the sausage, because it's very easy to tear the skin on that. So we're going to let those cook, and we're just going to keep agitating these peppers and onions. And basically what we're doing is we're trying to, I say saute, we're basically cooking them down quickly. You don't have to caramelize them. You don't have to get them to where they're, you know, completely cooked down and there's no bite left to them. It really just depends on your preference for the consistency of the vegetables when you bite into them. Most people who are plant-based and eat vegan and eat a lot of vegetables frequently will tell you that they like a bit of bite in their vegetables. They don't like to bite into it and just have a soggy kind of mess in your mouth. I find that especially with stuff like broccoli and cauliflower, is non-vegans will tend to just boil it until it's kind of just like muck and it's just soft and chewy, and that's just like absolutely the worst thing you could do to broccoli and cauliflower, because they're both just delicious. And if you leave a bit of crunch on them, look at that nice color there, but if you leave a bit of crunch on the broccoli and cauliflower, it's just much more desirable and a much better experience eating them, and you get better flavor out of it. Because the more you cook something, the more you're going to be breaking down the cell walls and releasing those nutrients and proteins. And specifically with boiling vegetables, when you boil them down to that point, they lose a good bit of their nutritional value. So you really just want to cook them just enough to where it's not like biting into a hard chunk, but just giving it a little bit of softness. With this particular dish, and you can see the color, this is just such a beautiful image right here. Those red and green and orange or yellow peppers, and you can see the little bits of dark green chili in there. And when we add the basil, it'll even brighten it up a little more. But with this particular dish, I like there to still be a bit of a bite left in the peppers and onions, but not too much, because it kind of you kind of just want it to all come together and congeal, but still retain a little bit of a bite. So we're just going to continue to cook this down, and I'll show you what it should look like in the end here. We lost an onion. That's okay. Just throw that in there. So keep rotating your peppers or your sausages. Just keep checking on them. And those are getting nice color on the other side. And generally with these, I like to get color on both sides and then flip them on their edge and cook them on their edge as well. And that just helps to kind of get it crispy, because the outer coating on those on these sausages doesn't always get super crispy. Depending on how you cook them, they can kind of come out kind of soggy. So you just gotta be mindful of that. So you can see these have already cooked down quite a bit. Excuse me. That chili is getting to me. Every time I put a serrano chili in a hot pan, it just blows me up. All right. Keep going. Keep cooking down. And I keep losing peppers, so that's okay. This one we'll just rinse off. Put back in here. So I'm gonna get our buns here, and I'll show you the buns we're gonna use. And we'll put that basil in almost dead last. Basically when I cut the heat, I'll just kind of stir it in. So the buns I like to use are, I'll show you the brand, Francisco International French sandwich rolls, and these are vegan. If you look at the ingredients, the only thing they have are wheat and soy. So what I like to do is slice it down the middle there and kind of open it up a little bit, but where these are pre-sliced, you can have a problem with the side of it coming off. But we're gonna toast these up. I'm gonna get my griddle here. Slide it in. Griddle's a really nice thing to have if you have a stovetop that supports one. If not, you can just crank your oven up on about 350 or 375 and bake them for a few minutes. I don't like to get too much going, too much color on them. I don't want them to be crunchy. I just want them to kind of soften up and be just nice. Okay, so look at this nice color here. That's what we want to see. So I'm going to drop that down to about a low, and we're going to add the basil in now. Just like that. And I'm gonna get all of it because I like that basil. I'm not gonna let any of it go to waste. All right. So stir the basil through. Let's check on the sausages real quick. Yeah, nice color there. So I'm gonna stand it up on its side like that. And like that. And at least get a little bit more going there. Just stir that basil in. And I'm gonna go ahead and cut the heat on that because that's pretty much done. That's about where I like it on the peppers. If you pick it up, it's still got some stiffness to it, but it's softened quite a bit. You should be able to pick it up and still it not go completely limp. This is a great recipe to do if you're having a little get-together with some people and you buy a couple packs of sausages and a good bit of peppers and onions, and pleases the mouths of many. All right, let's go ahead and flip the sausage on back over. And I would say those are really good enough now. I've got nice browning and char on them, but I'm just gonna put them right over here in the sausage and peppers, or the peppers and onions. And I'm gonna drop the heat off on the grill. And we're just gonna leave it there, and we're gonna get our buns here. And I just stick the bun on there. I think for the interest of time, I'm gonna just go ahead and plate one up for you so we can get out of here. And we'll get a plate like this here. Okay. So slice down the middle of the bun there, kind of open it up. Okay. We're gonna get a sausage, stick it in there, and then just grab a big helping of those peppers and onions. Make sure you get a little bit of everything and just lay it right on top there. And it's a messy eat. You might even eat it with a fork and knife. Sometimes I eat mine with fork and knife. And then we're not going to get it perfect there. And I'm going to get some mustard because mustard is the best thing to have with these. Some yellow mustard, some Dijon mustard, or some spicy brown mustard. I prefer either yellow or spicy brown. I think for appearance purposes, we're gonna go with the yellow mustard here. And I'm gonna slag these peppers off here. Okay. All right. Mustard just right over the top. And if I wasn't filming this, I would put an exorbitant amount of mustard on mine because I really like it like that. But for the filming purposes, I'm gonna leave it just like that. So let's get it up here in the light. Make sure you can see it real well. So we've got our nice cooked sausage here, the hot Italian sausage from Beyond Meat. We've got peppers and onions, the basil, garlic, the serrano chili, and finish it off with some nice bright tangy mustard. And I'm gonna do my best here to take a bite of this, but it is, I mean, you can see just how large it is, and I'm already making a mess. So maybe fork and knife is the best bet, but we'll give it a try here. Oh man, wow. Oh, if you could see my face, number one, I have a smile on my face, but number two, I have mustard all over my face, all over my mustache, in my beard, on my nose. But that's the way this is. I mean, this is right here, this is a fair food, a comfort food, junk food, whatever you want to call it. It's one of my favorite all-time dishes. It's so delicious, that spicy Italian sausage, the bite and chew of the peppers and onions, with all the other stuff we added in there. It just takes me back to Septemberfest in Louisa when I first had it. So definitely go out, get some Beyond sausage, get some peppers and onions, give this a try. Let me know how it goes. You can hit me up in the comments down below. You can at me on Twitter. I'm at POV Vegan Chef. Send me a picture. If there's anything you want to see cooked on the channel, definitely let me know that as well. And I really hope you enjoy this recipe. I really encourage you to make this because it is just bang on. It is just delicious. So alright, well, have a good Saturday. I'm filming this on Saturday. It'll probably be posted on Monday or Tuesday, but have a good weekend and make this hot Italian sausage with peppers and onions. Later.